Okay, I sent out an email today highlighting what the final exam, when the final exam will be. It's basically this coming Saturday. I checked the exam schedule again. Apparently Saturday is coming Saturday. It's part of the final exam week. So we can start our final from Saturday till next Tuesday. So May 18th from 10 a.m. till May 21st, Tuesday, 11:55 p.m. is the window where you can take the exam. And you take the exam by going to Angel and then check. Let's do a quick. There should be a final exam folder during the window, during the time window when this. Okay, so here, right after chapter 13, this final exam folder will be visible during the period that the 3 days or 4 days, the 4 days, May 18th through 21st. You can go to this folder and then click on this link to take the test. It's multiple choice, only 50 questions, similar as midterm, and it will cover the chapters from midterm forward. So chapter 8 through chapter 13 will be on the final. Okay. Then any late assignments and the last day of submitting any assignment, any work will be next Tuesday, May 21st. So you need to submit everything, any missing assignment by that time. Okay. I need time to grade them, and then I need to report your official grade. Okay, any questions on final exam? Okay, so don't forget, block a time, and it is timed. I gave 3 hours, sorry, 180 minutes, so 3 hours, but I expect you probably will be done under 2 hours. Probably 1 hour you'll be done. Like an hour and a half you'll be done. Okay, so schedule a time around 2 hours, 2.5 hours, a time block to take the exam. Once you start, because it's timed, I don't think you can save and come back later. Okay, because the timer is ticking. So go ahead in one sitting, just finish all 50 questions. So block a time around 2 hours to do it. Okay, now let's go to this chapter, the last chapter. In this chapter, we're going to learn about views. And I'm only going to focus on the kind of the basic view. Some of the stuff I will skip on this chapter. So we will learn about how to create views using the create view command. And the other things, updating record in the simple view, and some of the cautions when you use views to update data. I'm going to just go over it quickly, but I really want you to know how to create views and why we use create views. That'll be the focus. Okay, so let's look at what is, okay, get my pointer here. So what is a view? Okay, view is, in another word, is a saved query, a saved select statement, if you will. With all previous, from chapter 8 forward, this last half, we learned a lot of different varieties of select statement, from simple to complex. What if, like in the business applications, you want to perform a complex complicated select query like over and over and over again. And then probably you'll think, oh, wouldn't it be nice if we have this query that I put together with all those right joins, with all the where clause, with all the group clause, with all the stuff that I created. If I could save it, I could save it, and then next time I don't have to rewrite the whole complex query, that would be great, right? The view is kind of, we use views for exactly that purpose. It is a saved query. Okay, we would write it one time and save it. Next time we can just kind of run the query, run the view, and then get the result rather than redo this command. And there's another purpose for views is some of the sensitive data that we want to hide. We can hide it from the view, but use the view so that users will see from the view rather than getting the data directly from the table. So some of the columns that we hide. So those are the reasons we use views. Okay. Let's look at kind of the types of views that we have. Simple view, this is a view based on subquery that only reference one table. So it's a select command on one particular table, like books table. We want to list the books with their prices, then we can say select star from books, also not select star, select book ISBN number, ISBN, and title, and then price. Okay, we can use that select statement from books. That query we can save as a view, okay, in the database. So next time when we just kind of run the view, we get only 3 columns from the books table. So those are called simple view. The complex view is a view based on a subquery that query that retrieves, derives data from one or more tables and may contain group functions or different things. So this is a little more complicated. If we pull data from several different tables and then performing group functions at the same time, or not, then that view is a complex view. Okay, and the other two I'm going to kind of skip. All right, let's look at these. Focus on these two types. So syntax, first of all, how do you create a view? You say, okay, here's the syntax. They say create or replace. Okay, this is saying, okay, if the view already exists, let's replace it. Okay, so create or replace. Okay, view, right, and then the name of the view and F, and then your select query. Okay, that select query is the one that you want to kind of save in the form of a view. Okay, so let's look at an example. And there are a couple options. With check option constraint, if used, prevents data changes that make data subsequently inaccessible to the view. This is, there are some options for read-only. It's self-explanatory. It's once you create this view, okay, it's you cannot update data with this view. So it's a read-only. Okay. In most cases, we do use the view as read-only because the purpose for creating a view is running a saved query. It's a retrieving operation. Most cases it's retrieving. So we're reading only. That's an option that you can put it on your view. And with the check option, it prevents the data changes that will make the data subsequently inaccessible to the view. So if you change it and then the records drop out of the view, like will no longer satisfy your criteria and such. So that's when you use check options. Let's look at the simple view. One table. Okay, here's the creating a view. Create view and inventory. We're saying we get ISBN, title, retail price from books. Okay, with read only. So this select query, select ISBN, title, retail price from books. This is a valid select statement, and that will return all the books, but with only 3 columns: the ISBN, the title, and the price. That kind of like a I would say, subset of the data. Okay, we're not concerning about all the other columns, just these 3 columns for the books table. For that, I'm going to save this query as an inventory view. So I say create view inventory as. And with read only, this is for reading only. After this now, then inventory is a permanent object in the database. So after you create the view, then inventory is saved, just like any other tables, just like books. When you click on your SQL developer, you will see a list of tables. Now under the views, after this command is run, you will see the inventory view. Okay, so let's run this one. Okay. Oh, hopefully I still have my, okay, good. So the books table, okay, so here's the list of books, list of tables. And if I run the inventory view, okay, create view inventory, here. Okay, if I hit run, it says view inventory created. So let's go to the view tab under. Okay, now I have an inventory view. Okay, now I have an inventory view. If you kind of click on it, it shows the structure of the view just as if you are displaying the structure of your table. You will say, okay, now I'm listing the columns. I have 3 columns, okay, because these are the 3 columns from the books table, and here are the data types, and here are the constraints and other things. So now, if you want to see the data from the inventory, now, okay, I will be able to perform a select from the view as if this is a table. I can say select star from inventory. Okay, and this one, when I run, I will get the books and with the 3 columns, ISBN, title, and price. Okay, so this is the view, the data from the view. Then the underlying data is where? Is in the books table. So you have a table which has all the data, and you have a view which is a select query saved in the database. The inventory, okay, view does not kind of physically have data stored. It's the difference between this and the table is table actually has data. This is just a saved select statement. Then, but when you are retrieving data from a table or from the view, you're performing the same kind of select. Okay, so this is a saved select query. Okay, when you say select star from inventory, it's going to perform the actual pulling the data. We'll run the select, and then the data was actually coming from the table, underlying table. So this view is kind of linked to a books table. Okay, the actual data is from books. So if we have right now, when we say select star from the inventory, we get how many books? 14 books. If we added a book record in the books table, okay, and we didn't change any of the inventory stuff because it's a view, and then when I say select star from inventory, I will get the listing include the new book, So the underlying data is still in books. Okay. So that's something I want you to note. Any questions on the view? Okay. So this is a simple view. We are referring to the data in one table, and we're just kind of getting some columns. And this is in the case that some sensitive data like Social Security number, if we really don't want it, like password field or credit card information thing in the table, you can create a view, and that will not pick up those sensitive columns. Then your application could, when you retrieve data, could go from the inventory view, okay, of a view rather than go straight to the table. It provides an extra layer of kind of information hiding. That's the simple view. When you have a simple view, because it's based on one table, okay, if you don't have the with read-only option, this inventory view, you can possibly use it to update data. You can say update inventory, because it's only linked to one table, and so it is easier for the system to understand, okay, if you're updating the inventory view, it's usually you are actually updating the data in the books table. But I wouldn't recommend that you perform update or delete operations on views. Most cases out there, the views are created for reporting purposes, for retrieving data purposes, not for updating. If you want to update and to perform the update in the underlying table. Okay, so that's something I kind of want you to note. Now, complex view. Complex view is when you have more than one table involved, and you have group functions and other a little more advanced features of select statement. Okay. Okay, let's see this one. Is it easy? Is it hard to see? Select view price. Okay, create view price as select ISBN title, cost retail reason minus cost profit from books. And this one is still where kind of only select on one table. This is the book table. And this, we have a little bit of calculation here. This is not really a very, not a very complicated query per se. So we can perform our operations on the select statements and then save that as a view. Okay, this one. And then when you update, because it's based on one table, you're okay to perform the update, but again, not recommended. Let's look at a little bit more a kind of real case for a view. For example, in this one, okay, we say create view. Okay, the or replace is just here so that if there's a view or you run a create view price already, and then now you're modifying that view, you can say create or replace. So this saves the step of dropping the view and recreate. Okay, so create or replace can, if there's one already exists, it will drop the existing one and then create the new one. So create or replace view prices as, and here's your select statement. This one we are selecting data from 2 different tables. We're saying ISBN, title, cost, retail, profit, and name. This is the name of the publisher. Okay, from books, join publisher using pub ID. So this is a listing of the books along with the publisher. Okay. We could save this in the view called prices, and that will include the books along with the publisher. Okay, so this would be a view that we can save. The next time when we just want this listing of books along with the publisher name and prices, I can just say select start from prices. Okay, then I don't have to redo the join. I mean, in the behind the scenes, it's a join that's running, a join query that's running. But it's just that for programmers, you don't have to rewrite this join again. Okay, and if it's more complicated than this, then you don't have to rewrite that one. Okay. When you have a complex view, okay, a complex view which is based on more than one table, and if you want to perform update command on the view, okay, sometimes it makes sense and sometimes it doesn't make sense. So sometimes you will get error, some other times you may not. So this situation we really don't want to be in. So don't update on your view that involved joins and more than one table and other complicated group functions. Just avoid it. I say just avoid it. You would perform update on your underlying table. Don't do update with the view. Okay. Here, let's check this view. Okay, let's check this view. Create view balance due as. Okay, so let's look at this. It's a little more complicated SQL query. It says select customer number, order number, sum of quantity times retail, okay, amount due from customers, join orders, and join order items, and then join books, and then group by customer number, order number. Okay, so this is a one that involves group functions and joins. So this is a combination of our stuff that we covered in chapter, where's the joins is in chapter, is it 9? And then the group is chapter 11. Okay, so it's a combination. So let's look at this. What does this query actually give us? We have the customer and order, and then what is quantity times retail? Is how many we bought, that's quantity, times the retail price. Okay, so and then for all the items that we ordered, we will quantity times price, sort of like the retail price, okay, quantity times price, and we add all the items together that on that particular order. So that's like the order total. Okay, order total. For the order total, and we are doing this kind of select by customer, by order. Okay, so we're going to list a list of customers, a list orders, and then the total amount on the orders. Okay, we're going to list that. And this gives us information about our customers' purchasing history, kind of as far as the amount. Okay, how much they bought. Okay, for each order. So this gives us that report, and this could be a very useful management report. Your manager may want it. This kind of report. Like every day, maybe they're monitoring the sales, or every week they're monitoring. So if I save this as a view, then next time I don't have to worry about my command again. I don't have to say, okay, whether I'm enjoying on which column. So once you write it out and tested it out, you save it, then you can reuse it, and then you create this view, and the next time you just say select star from balance due, and then voila, you get your report. Okay. If you have worked with Access, the query tab where you save some of the queries, it's the same kind of concept as this, right? You're saving this query, so like this whole complicated select, as a view. So next time you can just say select star from the view, and then that gives you the underlying, that runs the underlying complicated select statement. Okay, any questions on this one? Okay, let's run this one. Okay, if I have that. And there are a few others. Let's see if I have that one. This complicated one. Do I have it? Okay, here it is. Okay, so if I run this one, I create another view in my database. So under the view, now if I refresh this one, and where's the refresh? Okay, then I get two. One is inventory, one is balance due. Okay, and this one, if you look at the structure, now it has customer, order number, and the amount on the order. Okay, and then if you want to see what underlying data that we can pull using this view, you would just run select, oops, key in the wrong, select star from balance due, Okay, if you run this, here's what you get. You get a list of customers along with their orders that they placed and the amount that they purchased on that order. Okay, so for some of the customers, it's grouped by, we didn't have an order by, so it's some of the customers may have placed more than one order, then they should be, we can add a order by customer number. So when you're selecting from view, you can write as if you are selecting from a table. Okay. Okay. So like this customer placed 3 different orders, and one order bought $121 worth of books, another order's $89, another order is only $8.95. Okay, $8.95. So once you have this view that you create, and again, you can use the view as if you are using a table in the select. You can then select from the view, and you can put where clause. You can put order clause. You can do further criteria, group by or sum, and things like that. Okay. All right, so let's go look at our scripts. So let's see what some of the others that. Okay, so let's look at this one and tell me what this thing is doing. Create a view region NE as select star from customers with region equal to NE. So this view is basically give you a list of customers who belongs to region NE, and we save the view as region NE. So next time when we say select star from region NE, I get all the customers who are in that region. Okay, this query, if we save it, maybe this north east region is the one that we want to focus on, or maybe targeting marketing material or some promotional things that we want to do. And maybe the manager for the northeast region is doing some daily tracking of something. Then this kind of view is helpful because we can just do a select star from the region NE, then we get all the customers, and instead of select star from customers, that's everybody, okay, all of our customers. We're only focused on the northeast region, and this way, instead of writing this one, like where region equal XE all the time, we run this query, we can save it, and then next time just use the view. Anything else? Okay, let's see this one. Okay, let's see this one. Create view outstanding as select customer number, order date, ship date from orders where ship date is null. Okay, let's ignore the with the check option, just up to the word clause. So what does this view give us? Customer number, order date, ship date from orders where ship date is null. This gives us the list of the customers and orders where the orders hasn't been shipped. Okay, ship date is null, so the order's not been shipped yet. This will be our list of the customers who ordered stuff but we haven't shipped their order, so they're waiting. So this is our kind of like the waiting outstanding orders. Okay, so that's what this view does. Let's see, anything other interesting ones? Okay, we covered that one. Any other interesting ones? The view balance, we have it. Okay. What other examples you can think of that we kind of ask a lot? How about the one that we had done before, that we list the books profit margin by category? Remember that one? That we can check the books table and then get the profit margin would be the price paid minus, let's see, the profit would be the price minus the cost, okay, and that's our profit, okay, that's our profit, and then we list our kind of average profit by category. We can do an average on that profit, and then we do a group by category. Then we'll get a list of the books along with their profit margins by category. So computer books, profit margin may be $20 on average, or we can perform a percentage profit margin percent. It's like 20% profit margin for computer books, 30% for cooking book. Maybe it's the opposite. 30% for the computer books and 20% for the cooking books, and things like that. We can save that kind of a select statement in the view also. Okay. Any questions on this? And so avoid performing update on especially the complicated ones, because if you want to update the, let's say, update at this case, if you're updating orders, then an underlying table, because we're going from customers, orders, order items, and it's a join. So if you're updating any kind of partial information, then the underlying table, there may be 5 or 6 different records related to that order number. And how are you going to populate the change? It's just impossible. Okay, so just avoid doing update on views. And you can also use the distinct keywords, anything that we have covered so far up to this point, anything on the select you can use in the view definition. Okay, so distinct, and then group by, sum, average, all of that, having clause, all of that can be used in defining your view. And how do you drop a view? You just say delete a view, okay? Just say drop view, just like drop table. Okay. It's the same concept. If after you drop, this object gets deleted from the database, then let me ask you a question. If I drop my inventory view, okay, the inventory, which is the books ISBN, title, and price from the books table. If I drop the view inventory, what happens to my books record? What happened to my data? Okay. Okay. Good. Good. If we drop the view, there's no effect on the underlying table. No effect on the underlying table's data. Okay. It's just this inventory select statement that you define, this inventory saved query is no longer there. Okay, you drop view by using drop view and then inventory, or drop view, any of the view that you create. So the view does not affect the underlying data if you drop the view. Okay, that's good. Inline view, this one I'm going to, these two, next two, I'm going to kind of skip, all right. This one is also something I want to skip. It's not used a whole lot. The most common use for views are the ones that we covered so far. Complicated queries that you wanted to save it for reuse, and or some of the data elements you want to hide. So you create a view which is on top of a table, and then the actual application will work with the views sometimes, so that they don't touch the underlying table for retrieving purposes only. Say displaying student information, most of the applications probably won't need the Social Security number or the password or things, so that your application would work with a view and from the student table that does not contain, okay, a student view, maybe create a view from the student table where you only have the basic information, not including the Social Security number, not including passwords. Okay, that's I think that's all I want to cover this chapter. Any questions on any of this chapter or previous chapter or anything? This chapter I assigned 6 problems, so rather than 10 problems, so just go ahead and do 1 through 6 for the hands-on exercise. It's just as if you are writing a select statement. So it's a review of writing select statements. You just, with the select statement, you add create a view as. So how do you debug? You would write your select query first, and then run it, and then see if that's the result you expect. Then if that's all good, then add, create, or replace view, the name of the view as part. Okay, so that's how you debug. So run your select statement, make sure it looks good and the logic looks all right. Then you create it. You add the script of create view as. Any other questions? Other questions? Any of the stuff? Let's see. On my assignment sheet, do I still have the quiz? Oh, I guess I still assign you quiz. So go ahead and try them, okay? Hands-on exercises from 1 to 6. Questions? We actually finished early today. Many of the reports, the management reports and the reports I use quite often is based on views. Okay, based on views. Sometimes people like to come up with a view that is the base of a report. So all your report, you have views, corresponding views in the database because you run this report many times, and so that query is saved in the database as a view. Questions? On the homework, anything different for chapter 12? No. Chapter 12 is still the same. Chapter 12 is still the same. I will check your grades by the time we get to the last part. See if I need to drop a low score, I will. Okay, I'll see where everybody is on when I look at the whole class's grades. Okay, any other questions? Any questions? How's the homework amount for this class? Is it kind of on average, or is it pretty light? It's okay. Average? Okay. Homework is okay. Oh, quiz. Oh, the final chapter, as far as I recall, it's mostly on the ones I want to highlight. So on the ones that I kind of skipped, I think I skipped those questions on the final. Right. Don't worry too much about the quiz. I think hands-on problems have a higher weight than the quiz. I think most important thing is as long as you know how to write those queries, it's when you get to the real world, you're doing reports and stuff, you have time to debug your commands. So as long as you know the hands-on homework, how to do them, those are important things. And then quiz sometimes, because the wording, because of the way the question was asking, you may not get what they were the problem was trying to address. That's a different problem. Okay, as long as you grasp how to write those SQL statements, that's what I want you to get from this class. Summer, I would say usually my server admin will refresh the accounts in August. So I would say you're safe still using our accounts in the summer, June, July-ish. But if you want to save anything, you'll back up your stuff. So it's still okay to log on to the accounts, but once you go into August, and then refrain from using that database. Well, thank you everyone for joining me. It's been a pleasure having you, especially those who join me every week here. I thank you. And hopefully you have a good summer, and check out our classes for fall and summer. Thank you. If you don't have any questions, you can sign off now. And have a nice evening. I will stay to answer questions about anything, okay? Oh, no mobile app class? You mean more information, or just one is offered? You can just go to our college's main web page, search for classes. You can see when the class would be. It's going to be a hybrid class. Lecture on campus, lab online. Lecture is on Tuesday night. As far as what is covered, that you will get more details once you sign up, and then you can email me, Helena, because I'm teaching that class in the fall. By the later in the summer, I probably have more better idea of all the topics, and as far as topics and whether to what degree are we covering those, and what kind of assignment would I give you, and things like that, or textbooks. I'm checking several textbooks. In the summer I'm going to prepare, because this is a very first class, this first time. I'm going to prepare throughout the summer and check out all kinds of books and check out problems and projects. Hopefully I'll have a good setup for fall for that mobile apps class. So CIS86 is the class name, the class number. We plan to write another advanced one, so this one will be a beginning introductory to mobile app, to Android class. Yes, Java, because it's using Java. Okay, we're going to use Java and Eclipse, and lots of using existing classes, object-oriented programming basics. You really need to know that. If you have not taken Java class, either you would pick it up on your own, focusing on the object-oriented aspects of the Java, or you take a class. Other questions? All right. Good night, everybody. Good luck on all of your final exams next week. Good night.